Hello, and welcome to the Jared Hurst podcast. This podcast is about understanding ourselves, others, and the tools that you can use in order to transform your life. This week, we're going to be talking about embracing the hard. Oh no! What? Jared, why are you trying to talk to us about embracing hard things? That sounds awful. Why would I possibly want that? Let me tell you a story. For a lot of my life, everything was about being comfortable. I described myself and told others that I was a creature of comfort. I got myself the softest pants I could possibly find when I wanted to lounge around the house. I wore big, baggy t-shirts. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't hike because that sucked. Why would I possibly want to go out and hurt? That's ridiculous. These people are nuts. These people are crazy. I dreamed many, many times about winning the lottery and then making life easy for everybody around me. I bought a bunch of land and built a complex with homes for all of my friends. And in the middle of this complex, there was movie theaters and video game arcades and computer networks. It was this giant complex where we could just sit around and hang out all day and have fun and travel the world. Sounds great, right? That's what life is all about, going out and doing fun things. Everything in my life was about comfort. What is the American dream? When you hear people talk about the American dream, what comes to your mind? A lot of people say home ownership or building a business or whatever. I would argue that is incorrect. If you look at what people pursue, that is their dream. Yes? The thing that people think about all the time, the thing that they can't stop talking about, that is their dream. What is the American dream? To not work. Everything that we talk about, our lives are, I am going to work so that I don't have to work. Think about that. Think about what you are telling yourself when you say, I am going to work so I don't have to work. What are you telling yourself? Work is bad. Hard is bad. My dream is to get old so I can sit around and do nothing. That's what life is about, is to do nothing. Let me ask you, how much happiness is there in doing nothing? Ask anybody who has retired and sat around doing nothing how long that lasted. How long they just sat around watching TV, golfing, whatever, and then they never did anything hard with their lives. Ask them how happy they really are. Is there a certain amount of joy and entertainment and excitement in doing all those activities? Yes. But if you do nothing, you will feel nothing. Life is not just about ease, comfort, and not having to work. If I could go back in time and teach a skill to my younger self, outside of mindset, emotional processing, emotional regulation, whatever you want to call it, changing my identity, overcoming my limiting beliefs, outside of the good self-esteem and emotional stuff in here, it would be hard work. It'd be teaching myself to enjoy work. Because when I tell myself that joy comes from not working, then what am I saying on the reverse side? What is this? What is work? If not working is joy, working is misery, pain, sadness. And what do you do like 40% of your life? 40% of your day. I mean, if you think about it, you have 24 hours in a day. Let's say you sleep 8, you got 16 left over. You're working 8 hours. That's a third of your life. 40% if you throw in like other things like weeding, cleaning, taking care of the kids. It's probably more than 40% of your life is work. And you just told yourself that work is pain. How exciting and how much joy do you get in your life if more than if 40% or more of your life is work and work is pain? Think about that. Think about the crazy reality that we try and sell ourselves. That everything is about making life easy. It's like, no. When did you feel fulfilled? When have you had the most joy? The most happiness? When you spent time with your family? Yeah. But when you did something that was hard and you accomplished it. When you learned something new. When you overcame adversity. When you got to breathe after not being able to breathe. Contrast. That's the time when you appreciate breathing. That's the time when you appreciate feeling normal. It's when you haven't felt normal. And I'm not saying that you go out and you work hard so that you can be miserable so that way you can enjoy the other times. That's not what I'm getting at. But we have to have growth in order to feel like we're going somewhere in life. So stop framing the hard things as painful. No wonder we have so much resistance to going out and accomplishing our dreams and our goals. Internally, everything that we've told ourselves is this is going to hurt. And the great thing, terrible thing about humans is we will run away from pain and we will pursue pleasure. Well, you've just put everything over here that helps you actually accomplish joy, excitement, fulfillment, purpose. You just framed all that as bad and painful. So of course you're going to have a hard time pushing yourself to do those things. Why wouldn't you? The thing is, it's actually based in science. If you think about this is really crazy. There is a portion of your brain. They can scan it and look at that brain, and they can tell you about your willpower by looking at the size of this portion of your brain. Here's what happens. When you go out, you do something that you don't want to do. You resist something that you really do want to do. That portion of your brain increases. And your willpower increases. When you work, you do hard things, you are capable of doing harder things. Our bodies adapt to what we give them. You go to the gym, you lift heavy weights, your muscles get bigger. Because your body is adapting to what you give it, and it says, I have to lift hard things. I need stronger muscles in order to do so. You give yourself hard work. challenges. Your brain says, I am going to be doing hard things. I need to be able to handle this workload. I am going to change my brain so that I can do harder things. See how that works? It's true in a lot of different ways. You can see it with memory. You can see it with emotions. There's a lot of different things where you can see where our bodies adapt to what we give them. I actually think there's a lot of life that if you really look at it, it's just our bodies, our minds, adapting to the environment that we give it, adapting to the things that we give it. So think about that for a little bit. What am I giving myself to adapt to? And if I give myself ease, how does my body and my mind adapt to ease? It gets weaker. We atrophy. You take somebody and you have them sit around. What do their muscles do? They shrink. You take your mind, you put it on autopilot. What does your mind do? It shrinks. I saw this really fascinating thing recently where this person was claiming, and I didn't look into the science, so I can't claim for sure that this is factual, but they took a 7 or 8 week break from screened devices. So no computers, no tablets, no phones. And their memory increased significantly over that period between when they started and when they ended. From what I read, the few little brief excerpts, however it's said, the few little bits that I read, they had this person take a test and they had this person have their brain scanned. And their memory was significantly better by not being on screens. Why do you think that would be? Why would that make a difference in somebody's mind? Well, what are most people doing when they're on a screen? Social media. Like a lot of what we do is social media. How hard is that pushing your mind? Maybe if you're creating content for social media, you become more creative. People that are really good at making money online through social media by making content get good at making content because that's what they give their mind. See how it works? They give themselves something to do and then their mind adapts to it and gets better and more efficient at it. So do you really want a life where you do nothing? Or do you want to embrace the hard? Embrace the difficulty, embrace the challenges of life, and find ways to conquer, grow, whatever it is that motivates you to go out and say, I'm going to go do hard things. I would challenge you that doing hard things will make your life more rich and more fulfilled. Give it a try. Try doing something that is difficult that you truly want. And then come back to me at the end and tell me whether it was worth it. I bet you'll find it is. It's not just about a life of ease. You get to decide what your life looks like, whether or not you want to be some couch potato or do something with your life. I think that the choice is easy. I believe in you. I know you can do it. And until next time, remember that you are not alone.